Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ole Walls House! Let's get fucking listening, baby!
Welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls. I'm back with you. Episode 91. 91 coming your way. Got a fun show coming. I'm running solo here. But first of all, I want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate anybody who checked out the Ryder Cup reactions that we did over on YouTube when we did those live. That was a lot of fun. I want to thank producer Kevy, as always, for getting this thing together for us. And just, again, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody who watches and listens to this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Quick housekeeping, you know the deal. If you guys could, rate, review, comment, subscribe, share, let people know about Ole Walls House. I'd appreciate it. Fun show coming. I talk Ryder Cup solo this time. I'm just going to toss that in from the live show on Sunday. So if you didn't catch that then, it'll be in here. We'll lead off with that, and then we'll talk some football, NFL, and college. Quick beats on some baseball, some fights, my passing thoughts. A lot of good stuff coming up. So before we do, though, you want to talk about hydration. Liquid IV. And if you're looking for 20% off, your boy's got it. But, look at hydration. It's not just for, those world-class athletes. You can use it first thing in the morning. Before a workout. Maybe you feel just a little run down. Maybe you get some back-to-back meetings coming up. You're looking for a little hydration boost. You got a night out with the boys. Liquid IV is your way to go. 12 delicious flavors. I've got a couple I like. I like green grape. That's a sugar-free. I like the Concord grape as well. What I love most about it, that convenient little package. You just pour it in some water and you're away you go. So one stick, liquid IV, 16 ounces of water, hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. 5 essential vitamins, do you guys remember? B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. Quality ingredients, non-GMO, free from gluten, dairy, and soy. And they believe equitable access to water is an important thing, and they have provided over 39 million servings of water in 50-plus countries around the world. So here's what you do. You go to liquidiv.com, or you go to the link in the show notes that's down there somewhere. Just go find it. You go there, use promo code OWH. O for Ole, W for Walls, H for House. Promo code OWH, liquidiv.com, 20% off. There you go. Go get hydrated. Let's get to the show! Just after the finale of the Ryder Cup has just ended, it is I believe a 17-11 win for the Europeans. Let me double check that. 16.5 to 11.5. So how did this day finish up? So we came in needing 8.5 to get to 6. So it was even. Is it even? Yeah, it was an even thing. Half a point. 1.5 points, 2.5 points, 3.5 points, 4.5 points, 5.5 points, 6 points. Yep. Yeah, so wider margin, 16.5, 11.5 when all said and done. It felt there was the moment, there was the stretches today. I thought we lost early after Rahm beat Scheffler on 18. The 18th hole woes continue for the Americans. That's a thing that keeps happening. So that was a detriment. 1.5 extra points would have went a long way. I know 16.5, they would have made it to 11.5. It would have made it 13, so 15-13. But it makes things a lot different from those 1.5 points that they dumped on Friday afternoon. Dumped up like a half a point in the morning on Saturday, just not being able to finish. So there were chances for this U.S. team. It's a 5-point margin at the end of the day, but it felt closer at times. At times it felt much wider. Had not been Patrick Cantlay down the stretch yesterday, then this thing wouldn't have been remotely close. even coming into Sunday. Like, there wouldn't even have been this like outside prayer of making the biggest comeback of all time. Sorry, I'm just gonna do this. I'm tweeting out the link to the live stream here. So I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna do that. All right. There we go. It's out. So, yeah. So, 16.5, 11.5. Some good moments today. Max Homa, after trying to gag it away on 7 and 16 by banging one out into the water when Fitz was out there, he makes an incredible up and down, makes like an 8-footer to tie the hole and win the full point and keep it going. Brooks Koepka pretty much has his way with Ludwig Eberge. I mean, I don't even know how we say it now. Aubert. Spieth ties Lowry, in kind of a crazy match. After being down too early, Xander Schauffele comes back. Justin Thomas gets a win. Said Koepka, Max Homa. Patrick Cantlay, another gutty win. Justin Rose just turns into some sort of god, apparently, in this event. Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm played an incredible match. MVP of the weekend, Victor Hovland, just absolutely guts Morikawa, gets out early and just keeps going. Rory McIlroy, after the dust-up last night, he has himself a hell of a day. I think he was 8 under through 17 holes. Just Sam Burns just happened to be the guy who had to be the sacrificial lamb. And Burns even made it interesting kind of late. Made a birdie on 13 of 16. And then, the end of the match, Ricky Fowler with, in hindsight, I thought when he gave Fleetwood the putt on 16 after he banged one out into the water, that ended their match, and it didn't. It just made him 2 up with 2 to go. Like, it didn't register to me when that was happening that wasn't just like giving that putt was over. Now, I don't have the biggest deal with it. It was still a little weird, but. Yeah, so all in all, the fact of the matter is the European team showed the fuck up, and especially their top guys. If you look at the stats, I saved a picture of this. Rahm, McIlroy, Hovland, 10.5 points. And they didn't play together one time. So those were 10.5 points all spread around. They accounted for 10.5 of the 16.5 points. That's what it came down to. The top dogs for the European team were fucking killers. And the top dogs for the United States team, outside of Max Homa, who went 3-1-1, were not. It's just what it boils down to. Let me see if they have the Wikipedia all updated already. They sure do. Thank you, people. Yeah, split the final session 6 and 6. Split Saturday 4 and 4, and then just the disaster that was Friday. Lose all the matches in the morning. You're going up 3-1 coming down the stretch, and instead of it being a 3-1 Friday afternoon, Friday afternoon, it's a 2.5, 1.5 European afternoon. Just an absolute disaster. And then Saturday morning, Schauffele and Cantlay had a chance as well. So I mean, if it's there's your 2 extra points, if not more, that they left in those 2 days. Whew, yeah, not great. And so it'll be 2027 next time the Americans get a chance on foreign soil. That'll be 34 years when that rolls around. They have split, the cups have been split the last 4 years now. Last 5. 16, it's since COVID and the year swap, I'm screwed up. 16 was an American win, 18 was a European win, 21. So last 4 matches. And 5, I mean, if you go back to 14. They've alternated matches since 2014. There's only been in this millennia, in this century, there's only been 2 road wins. That's 04, right? 02 would have been in Europe. 04 was in America. That was a win for Europe. And then in 12, the miracle at Medina. So there's this thing where you don't really win on the road. 04 was a comically weak United States team, and 12 was just another collapse by the United States. But the other ones, 2008 was a similar point differential. 2012 was close. 2016 was pretty big. 2021, obviously the biggest ever. 2018 was a big one too. It's like there's been some big ones. It was nice that this one was even close for a while because it was like an outside chance that it was going to matter coming down the stretch. Could you imagine if we get one of these that's like really close on Sunday and like really matters? Like 2016 was pretty sweet, if I remember correctly. Like that one was pretty tight from time to time. Let me find it here and find how that all broke down. It was 9.5 to 6.5 going into Sunday singles. And points on the board at one point, it was 10.5 to 9.5 because Europeans had put 3 of the first 4 points on the board. It got to be a runaway late, and the Americans ended up winning that session 7.5, 4.5. But there was like some intrigue. Like, can we imagine like if we have like a 9-7, an 8.5, 7.5, like going into Sunday? This event is so sweet. It's my favorite golf event of the year. It might be my favorite sport. If it's not my favorite sporting event, it's pretty close. Like maybe March Madness. NFL season overall is greater, but incredible. Just an incredible event. It's so fun to watch. We're going to sit here and dissect things, and I'm going to say things about what I think the U.S. needs to do moving forward. But I fucking love watching this thing, man. It's so great. It's so much fun. Just awesome. So, yeah, let's look at some records because there's some gaudy ones on the Europeans, obviously. They have 2 guys go 5 matches, Rory and Victor Hovland. Victor Hovland goes 3-1-1. Rory goes 4-1-0. John Rahm plays 4 matches, goes 2-0-2, does not lose a match, and finds a way to have 2 matches coming down 18 that are absolutely crucial. Justin Rose, his 1-1-1 felt way better than that. It felt like he was doing that thing where he makes every fucking putt and points at every fucking person in the crowd again. But again, those are the big guys. That's the thing. Points, Rory got 4 points. Rahm got 3 points. Victor Hovland got 3.5. 3.5 from Tyrrell Hatton. I think he played a lot with the dudes. So it was impressive. Shane Lowry 1-1-1. Anybody? Nicolai Højgaard did not get a full point. He was the only European to not win a match. He and Fitzpatrick and Sepp Straka are the only guys with losing records. On the U.S. side, it is much bleaker. Much bleaker. Winning records. Ooh, they're hard to find. Max Homa 3-1-1. Brian Harman went 2-2. Patrick Cantlay went 2-2. Wyndham Clark went 1-1-1. God, it felt worse than that for Wyndham. So one guy with a winning record. Oh, oofta. Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth do not win a match. They go 0-2-2. Not good. I mean, you needed Scotty Scheffler to be a 3-point getter. You needed Spieth to get 1.5, 2 points. Justin Thomas 1-2-1. He was saddled with Jordan Spieth. Wins his singles match. The tie on his record is strictly because he was just carrying Spieth down the stretch in their 4-ball match that they tied. Xander Schauffele, very disappointing, 1-3-0. Colin Morikawa, 1-3-0. Brooks Koepka, 1-1-1, but he kind of steals one. Just felt like he wasn't a big deal like he should have. Only played 3 matches. Ricky Fowler. We probably need to discuss Ricky Fowler. 0-2. He does not play at all on Saturday. His career Ryder Cup record now, 3-9-5. And teams he's been on are 1-4. It got to a point where it was like Ricky's on the team. And there was a stretch where I don't know when that got to be, somewhere around after the U.S. Open. Then he got that win. He was never like at the top of the points list. He was kind of near the bottom of like the qualifying, like the 12, 11, 13, 14 range. And there was just a point where it's like Ricky's on the team. And I just, in hindsight, I remember joking around with Slano about it, because Slano's a big Ricky guy. I'm like, he sucks. Like, we shouldn't take him. And then I never really thought about it. Like, I never got into it and be like, we really shouldn't take him. I just was like, oh, he's on the team. Like, it's going around. And in hindsight, maybe I should have. Maybe I should have been like more of hey, we should not take Ricky Fowler because he stinks. Jordan Spieth, in hindsight, you wouldn't take him. He was terrible. I think you take Justin. I think the Justin Thomas pick, I know he goes 1-2-1, but I think it was proven this whole week that why you take him. He's an absolute fire starter. He grinds his face off. I thought he was fucking fantastic today. I know you're getting fucking smoked, and he's out there doing the fake hat tip and freaking out, but like, somebody's got to do it, because I mean, maybe Max Homa is starting to show himself to be one of those guys, but who else on that list will? Nobody. So like, you got to do it. Xander also doing fake hat tips. Patrick Cantlay, the stones he showed the last 2 days was good. But yeah, this is a team that we thought could do this, and they don't. And I think there's some questions about the Zach Johnson captaincy that need to be addressed. It just didn't seem right the whole way. Now, that said, there was all that shit being said about Stricker last year. Like, he doesn't speak, he's not putting out a great face, but the beauty of it all is winning solves everything. If you win, Zach Johnson's the fucking greatest U.S. captain in how many years? Like, through the bumbles and the weird responses, through all of that, through bench and Ricky, through everything. Like, if they win, if they pull off the miracle today, Zach Johnson led that team. That's what the story would be. If they don't blow all the points coming down the stretch. Like, the captaincy was bad, probably. But I mean, it's in the long run, it's determined down the course. I mean, there's the leak that Patrick Cantlay was staging a coup, and we're gonna get to that that whole discussion. But like, that didn't appear to be a big thing, unless Thomas and Spieth go out hatless. Like, it felt like there was a little bit of like, hey, we're taking shots back at you with that. But yeah, Zach Johnson, I don't think he is the answer. I don't know who else you go to for captains. At Bethpage, I think that was penciled in to be Phil's captaincy for years. Like, I think if you were looking out the stretch of stuff, you're like, Phil at Bethpage, New York. Bethpage people, New York people fucking love Phil. Like, that was going to be his. I obviously don't think that's happening now. This one may have been Tiger's, honestly, until he got all hurt. He was the captain in 2019 at the President's Cup. So, maybe he was lined up. Maybe you run Tiger back out next time in 2025. But, the only other assistant captain was Stuart Sink. Like, is Stuart Sink our guy to be a Ryder Cup captain? I don't know about that. Sam Burns. Sam Burns showed some fire. And, again, he ran into a fucking buzzsaw today. Any reports, apparently, that said Rory and Joe LaCava cleared things up turned out to be not true at all. So yeah, the not a great great weekend for the golf media, you could say. I'm just scrolling Twitter to see if there's anything else here that's popped up. Okay, let's talk Hatgate then. Ooh, here's a good one. Captain's picks 4, 12, and 4 on the week. Big Randy from NLU. ZJ's captain's picks went 4, 12, and 4 in the week. More disqualifying, in my opinion, is the lack of literally one interesting thing he said all week. If you're going to get boat raced, at least be entertaining. This was a dull failure, the worst kind. He goes, I'm in favor of a Phil captain at Adair Manor. Maybe 2027 is a long way away. Maybe they mend fences by then. There's the whole, kind of merger, new company thing that's coming between Liv. There was a cooling of sorts. But maybe here we go. Here's the last 5 Ryder Cups. 2014 Europe, 16.5 to 11.5. 16, 17 to 11, 18, 17.5 to 10.5, 21, 19 to 9, 23, 16.5 to 11.5. 5-point margin is the closest Ryder Cup in the last decade. That stinks. I'm hoping for something closer. So yeah, moving forward, what happens? I think, I don't know if I was floating around earlier in the week. Maybe the answer is 12 captains picks. Like, go pick the guys who want to be there. Like, Keegan wanted to be there. Maybe that's the answer. And they went buddy system. Like, I didn't argue against it. I thought pairing Sam Burns with Scotty Scheffler would be a good pair. I thought you take Justin Thomas, and since you're taking Justin Thomas, you're taking Jordan Spieth. And Jordan Spieth was like 7th or 8th in the points. Like, we can go back in history now and be like, oh yeah, I wouldn't take Jordan Spieth knowing how the weekend went. But like, going into it, you're gonna take him. Not that his Ryder Cup record is all that extravagant outside of his time with Justin Thomas. I mean, he had a good run with Patrick Reed for a while. But I still don't think he has a Ryder Cup singles win. But maybe the answer is 12 captains picks going forward. And you pick the guys that really want it. I mean, and that was a question. Did Patrick Cantlay really want to be there? Now, I would say his play on Saturday afternoon and Sunday says, yeah, he wanted to be there. He wanted to win. And maybe he just wanted to shove it up people's asses after all that stuff came out. But Xander Schauffele, like, they were in the same boat. Like, there's always questions floating around the American team. Do these guys want to be there? Like, Max Homa wants to be there. Justin Thomas wants to be there. So I think Spieth wants to be there. Scotty wants to be there. Is Brooks Koepka a guy that wants to be there? Like, I'm sure they all want to be there and they all want to win, like, when they get there. But, like, the fucking Euros, man, they live for this shit. Like, Luke Donald was the number 1 player in the world, and they interviewed him. He's like, this is the best moment of my golfing career. Like, these guys just show the fuck up for it. And I tweeted out, like, if the fucking Euros played like they play in the Ryder Cup, like, these guys would all have like 10 majors, like Rory and Rose and Rahm. And Rahm's still probably going to win a bunch, and Rory has won 4, but like Tommy Fleetwood, and then there was the Sergios and the Westwoods, and like all these dudes who don't have the major success that, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth and Colin Morikawa and Brooks Koepka have had. And, obviously in the past, your Tigers and your Phils, they just really ball out for it because they fucking live for this shit. Maybe the answer is you got to find ways to get more guys on the American side to really live for it. And again, we don't have this, like, if the U.S. wins this week, there is zero conversation. Like, we've done it, the task force, we fixed it, we got it. Like, there was also something floated around that maybe you just have like an all-time like coach that oversees the whole program. I don't know if that works, because then some people are, we should get somebody from outside golf. That's fucking stupid, but I don't know. I mean, the answer at the end of the day is you got to play better. And I know the people will be like, oh, there's more to it. But like the end of the day, the European team wins because they make more putts, they hold out more chips, they hit better drives, they hit better approach shots. Like, that's what it is. Hatgate. Okay. So if he was wearing a hat not wearing a hat to protest the fact that they weren't getting paid. And I looked this up, and Jamie Weir's tweet said that they get paid in the President's Cup, but I don't think that's true. I know they said on No Laying Up it's not true, the podcast, but then I looked it up. It doesn't seem that way. It seems they just get $250,000 to disperse to charities how they want to. Now, it was also said that 20% of the TV money gets sent from the PGA of America, which obviously is a different thing than the PGA Tour. PGA of America, which runs the Ryder Cup and the PGA Championship, has nothing to do with the PGA Tour. But there's some sort of agreement that they send some money from this event, the TV money. 20% of the TV money goes back to the PGA Tours and goes into pensions. Now, granted, the guys playing in this event don't see it directly. It gets to their pension. That probably gets split up among all the pensions. If I had to guess, I don't know for sure. I'm talking a little out over my skis here. That said, it's hard to imagine a world where, and I know these guys make a lot of money, and I know they play for a lot of money a lot of weeks, and represent your country 1 week a year seems like something that should be a no-brainer, and that the scene is awesome. And, you know, if I could do it, I'd fucking give anything to play in a Ryder Cup, right? But, like, then those guys do it, and they look around, and they're like, holy shit, look at all these people. Look at all these sponsors. Look at these fucking sky, you know, they're not skyboxes, but, you know, these hospitality tents. Like, there's a lot of money coming in. Let's look up how much money did the 2021 Ryder Cup make? Oh, come on. Here we go. Money behind the Ryder Cup. Oh, it's a fucking Substack thing. Thought I saw some. Brings in revenues of 80 to 100 million. 80 to 100 million. Like, there's 24 dudes out there, like, that are the reason it happens. And there's $100 million being brought in. That's something. Like, it's something. I mean, it's a big thing with, like, college sports. Like, oh, there's all this money. It's like, oh, but you know, the education you get, and, you know, the moment, and can you imagine wanting to get paid for this? Like, yeah, I can imagine wanting to get paid for something. If somebody's making $100 million off what I'm doing, I can imagine wanting to get paid. Like, I don't think it's the most ridiculous thing to think. And now it seems that now it's going to probably come out in like a week that maybe this is all true. But it seems like the United States team worked pretty together, and Patrick Cantlay balled out after all this, so I can't complain too much with his play. But I don't think it's ridiculous that these guys want to get paid for something that makes a lot of money. Now the Europeans are like, oh no, you can't do it. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that says something, but I don't know. It's interesting. I don't like. I have a hard time getting really upset at somebody for being like, yeah, I'd like to get paid. I have a hard time getting upset about that. So, what else? Anything else here? I think that's about it. Fun week. You know, foursomes. I saw. I don't know if I saw the stat is real. You're 16 under and 20 under in foursomes, something like that in the 2 days. Gotta play better in foursomes, man. We get smoked in foursomes every time we go there. So I don't know if they have a future site for the next European Ryder. No, Adair Manor, I believe, is where it is. Yes, Adair Manor in Republic of Ireland. I think that might be the first time they've ever gone there. We're going Bethpage, Hazeltine, which has been good to us, Olympic Club in 2033, and Congressional in 2037. So I love the Ryder Cup. It sucks it's only every 2 years, so in 2 more years we'll do this all over again. All right, everybody. We'll catch you all next time, and this part's going to get rolled in the pod, so we'll move on to the next thing. Well, let's start this week of NFL talk talking about my Green Bay Packers. It was not good at all, ladies and gentlemen. It ends up being a 34-20 loss to the Detroit Lions, who take over sole possession of first place in the NFC North. Now the Packers sit at second at 2-2. Split our little 2-game homestand. And just oofda. Just bad, man. Like, it looks so great when it starts off. There's a pick on the third play. The defense looks hyped up. And then the offense squanders it. They just get a field goal. Next drive, Lions. Right down the field. I did note that through the first 2 possessions, the Packers had 0 rushing attempts. It was like we were trying to go deep. Right before the game during the day, Bakhtiari went on the IR, so he's out for at least 4 more games. Jordan Love threw an interception from the shadow of his own goal line to start the second quarter. And in the entire first half, the run was completely abandoned. I think Aaron Jones only ended up rushing it 5 times in the game. Yeah, 5 rushing attempts for Jones, 5 rushing attempts for Dillon. Jordan Love ended up running a touchdown in. 9 receptions for Romeo Doubs, who's obviously become Jordan Love's favorite target here. 2 for Watson and a touchdown. Did Jones get any? I was so fucking tired watching this game. Jones had 1 reception for my story. He had 6 touches. I think he was only targeted 2 or 3 other times. It was just bad. It just showed how soft of a football team they are, maybe. Soft. It was a poor showing. There's no way around it. There was nothing good about it. The game plan I felt was terrible. You got some linemen out, you got Bach and Jenkins out on the left side. So your line's not what you want it to be. And our game plan is we're going to try and take it deep, try and take the top off the defense. You get Aaron Jones back, and you just don't get him involved. And yeah, I know you get down early because they were down early. It was 27-3. And the Packers scored some kind of, what were essentially bullshit scores. They scored, they hit, Love hit Watson. They're down on the goal line. In the third quarter, they got another one where they got it to 27-17 just right at the start of the fourth. But then David Montgomery put it away when he scored his touchdown in the fourth quarter. It was just, it was bad. It was domination. If you look at the total stats, we rushed for 27 yards. We picked up 230 total yards. They picked up 400. They averaged a yard more per play than us. Again, we get crushed in the time of possession game. 38 minutes for them, 22 for us. 2 interceptions from Love, who, it was probably his first real poor game, I guess you could say. But I don't feel like he was put in a situation to succeed, really. And I think he really needs to be put into situations to succeed because, he's not this incredible quarterback you can lean on. He was 23 of 36. It was one of his better completion percentages, but 2 interceptions. It was bad. And, it was coming off, we thought a little good mojo coming off the previous week, but not so much. So down go the Packers after that comeback. So we're in a stretch where we don't play again on Sunday until the 22nd of October. The 22nd of October coming up. It's the Raiders on Monday Night Football. The Raiders were without Jimmy G this week. Not sure what the status will be for him next week, but the Chargers barely escaped the Raiders, who scored another late touchdown to kind of close one up. Let me see if it says anything in here, if we got any news on Jimmy G. I don't think there's been any news if what his status is for next week or not. Jimmy Garoppolo. Just checking here. Just checking. Bear with me. Hang out. Take a little spin around. Tell me what you're thinking. Yeah, but while we're talking the Raiders, finally a win for not finally. This is their second one, but a win for the Chargers after they find ways to lose. Usually, they did not find a way to lose this one. My God, can I find this ever? Here we go. I was gonna say I wanted to double check. It was a concussion. I didn't want to say that and then think I was wrong. So you would think he should be back, but you never know. You never know. So it'll either be Jimmy G or the Aiden O'Connell led Raiders hosting the Packers on Monday night. Another couple back-to-back road games. We go back-to-back to start, back-to-back at home in the middle there. So a little flip-flop. At the Raiders, at the Broncos. That feels like 2 winnable games. Then you host the Vikings, which feels like a winnable game because the Vikings don't seem too good. And, away we go. But the Lions probably are just flat out the better team. If you can beat the Raiders, optimistically, is 4-2 coming out of this 5-2? I mean, worst case, you got to think if there's any hope of the season, you got to be 4-3 coming out of this 3-game stretch to end the month. See if you can steal one at Oakland. You should beat the Broncos. They seem bad. They seem very, very bad. And then, the Vikings don't seem very good either, but it's the Vikings, and they seem to have had our number. So it's dire times almost for the Packers. It gets late early in the NFL, I like to say. So big 4-week stretch. We're off after this Monday night game, which is nice before you get the Broncos. So nice pacing after the Thursday night game. You get a little extra time than the bye week. So it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out. Elsewhere around the NFL, I mean, though, the game of the week coming into the week was Bills-Dolphins. Now, the game started out incredible. Kane got himself a couple more touchdowns this week. I kept him in the lineup, ladies and gentlemen, and that paid off for me. The Bills, though, are your big winners. 48-20. Josh Allen throws 4 touchdown passes. The Bills show they're the class of the AFC at the moment. It feels like every time I jump on the Dolphins bandwagon, they lose. So I apologize, Dolphins fans, that I was talking last week that maybe they were the team. Maybe there's a hole, and maybe it's a giant hole on the defensive side of the ball. And they let the Broncos score quite a few points, and now the Bills have scored quite a few points. The offense is incredible, but can you trust their defense when it comes to winning games? I saw that the Dolphins haven't won in Buffalo in 8 years. 8 years. Western New York, as everyone likes to say. They love to say up there in Western New York. Look at a map. If you need to know so bad, just look at a map, see where Buffalo is. It's so funny that it's always Western New York. We're here in Western New York. Because for some reason, you say New York and people don't understand that there's a thing that's different than New York City, I guess. Josh Allen has been balling, I heard as well. 72 of 94 in his last 3 games. He's thrown 8 touchdown passes. And I thought I heard on the Pat McAfee show that he has only thrown 6 balls off target in the last 3 games after their slow start. So the Bills, maybe the Bills are the class of the AFC. It is the NFL, so maybe next week the Bills are going to get dumped, and we'll be saying the Jacksonville Jaguars are the class of the AFC. I doubt it, but I say the Jags because that's who the Bills are playing. Speaking about teams who are not the class of anything, the Denver Broncos stage a comeback in Chicago, and after Justin Fields plays maybe the half of his life, he goes 12 for 12. He plays a great game just in general. The best stat line of his life, no doubt. 28-35, 335 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 sack. Passer rating of 132.7. Rushes for 25 yards. Just absolutely killer stat line. He has the Bears up 21-7 at half, and I believe they got up as much as 28-7 towards the end of the third quarter. And then Russell the Muscle Wilson leads the Denver Broncos to score 2 more touchdowns. The defense has a fumble return for touchdowns when Justin Fields got lit up, and he made a little whoopsie there. It was the big mistake of his game. And then a field goal with just under 2 minutes left leads the Broncos to complete the comeback. And just the hell that it must be to be a Bears fan. You think you're going to get the win. Your quarterback is balling out of control for once. Everyone's saying he sucks. And you know what? It turns out life still sucks to be a Bears fan because back came the Broncos and the Bears still suck. The Bears 0-4 to 0-4. Wow, so great. Raiders Chargers, talked about that a little bit. The Chargers didn't blow it. Khalil Mack, 6 sacks in that game. Elsewhere, what's going on with the Bengals? They stink. They're terrible. They're 1-3 now. I believe that's last place in that division. That is, in fact, last place in that division. Just, they get boat raced. Absolutely boat raced by the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill-led Tennessee Titans. Unreal. The Jags open the morning. They get a win over in their second home of London, get back to 500. They're playing there again this week. They did a little 2-week homestand over there. One of those games counts as an away game for them. One counts as a home game. Other teams that you have to say, what the fuck's going on? The Pittsburgh Steelers get dump trucked by the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud has himself a nice little day. 16 of 30, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenny Pickett had a discussion with a friend of mine. Kenny Pickett's not the answer. Colin Cowherd was spouting off some pretty crazy shit. I think this might have been a little over the top, but he said trade TJ Watt and 3 draft picks to get up to draft Caleb Williams for them. I don't know if all of that is necessary, but Kenny Pickett's not the answer in Pittsburgh. That's for sure. Maybe that is the case. Bucks take care of the Saints. They're leading that division. The Bucks are 3-1. Baker Mayfield, look out, Baker. Cowboys, domination of the New England Patriots. The Eagles and Commanders game. So the Commanders are just right in there. They score a touchdown late, and Riverboat Ron doesn't go for it. He doesn't go for it. I mean, they trade scores in the fourth quarter, and as time expires, Sam Howell finds Jahan Dotson, and they don't go for it. They kick the extra point, and then the Eagles win in overtime with a field goal. That was your chance, Commanders. Ron Rivera, what are you doing? Like that, there was, as soon as that score happened, I was like, you go for 2. I know it's revisionist history, and hey, he goes for 1 and they get the ball and they score in overtime. It's a different story. But guess what? They didn't. So I get to sit here and play Monday morning quarterback because that's what the millions and millions of you people here watching want to hear. You got to go for 2 in that situation, man. I don't know how you don't. The Eagles are a better team. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, on the year, the Eagles are going to have a better year. They've got a better roster. You got to go for it. You got to go for 2 there. You got to win the game. You play to win the game. You're in Philly. Like, just go win it right then and there. Then you're in the lead of the division. That one chapped my ass a little bit. What else? Am I missing anything? Vikings, Panthers, Rams win in overtime. Not sure what to think about the Rams. No Cooper Kupp yet, but Puka is just a menace in the fantasy leagues. And the 49ers have no trouble with the Arizona Cardinals. How fucking good is Christian McCaffrey? And while we're talking about the 49ers, Purdy Pumpkin Watch. Purdy, not a pumpkin. Still not a pumpkin for Purdy. So yeah, I don't know that he's ever lost a game he started and finished. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right. And the Jets, the goddamn Jets, ruined my betting weekend. I doubled down on the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel great about it. The Chiefs jump out to a 17-0 first quarter lead. They don't score another fucking touchdown in the game. And back comes Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson ties the fucking game up, and a field goal in the early part of the fourth quarter by the Chiefs is the difference. Zach Wilson, 28 of 39 for 245. Patrick Mahomes, 18 of 30, for 203 with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. There is no way, absolutely no way, you would have convinced me going into the week, going into the night, in the first quarter, that Zach Wilson was going to be outplaying Patrick Mahomes. That's exactly what happened. Unbelievably. So, who, I don't know how that happened. I have no fucking clue. So, unbelievable. Probably not gonna have an update for Monday Night Football. I got some stuff going on here in just a minute. So we will have Monday Night Football next week because the Packers are playing. But what are we looking at matchup wise next week? Anything fun? Obviously the Packers. Thursday night, Commanders host the Bears. No, thank you. Sunday we get the Jags hosting the Bill. I know they're technically the away team, but the Jags are the home team in London now. Dolphins, Giants, Ravens, Steelers. There's a good one. That's always a good one. Panthers head to Detroit. Bengals, Cardinals. Can the Bengals get a win? They're only favored by 3. I'm not so sure. I am not so sure. Look out for the Cardinals there. Eagles, Rams. There we go. There's a good one. Eagles, Rams. Chiefs at Vikings. Jets at Broncos. Yikes. Fun one Sunday night. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be sitting in. We're going to be watching that whole game. Cowboys, 49ers in San Fran. That is a hell of a football game. Those are the class of the NFC. And I am looking forward to that. We start bye weeks next week, people. For those of you in fantasy football leagues, we got 4 teams on bye. Cleveland, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Tampa Bay. So, fun next Sunday. Fun next Sunday night. I am looking forward to that one. Give me the 49ers. I will take the 49ers, and I will do it happily. I think they're the class of the league, but wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys win, but I'll take the 49ers. What's the spread? Spread's at the moment 3.5. Ooh, I don't love the hook. Ooh, I'd let the line move around a little bit before I take anything there. So, all right, let's keep rolling. Okie dokie. How about a little college football? Penn State, our boys. Slow start against Northwestern. Like I said, coming into this game, that was going to be a weird game. It was, Northwestern, not good, so tough to get up for. Early game, 11 a.m. And then, you're just dealing with the fact that it's the early road game, the atmosphere, nothing to pump you up. Like they were talking all week about how they were turning the music down and off in practice to kind of simulate it. And coming out of the gate, Penn State looks sloppy. They fumbled the opening kickoff. Northwestern kicks a field goal. They take a 3-0 lead. It's 10-10 at halftime. But, it's 3-3 after the first quarter, too. And then 10-10 at halftime. But then things opened up. Penn State scored, 17 unanswered. Northwestern mixed in a field goal. And then Jimmy James Franklin, who is always seems to be has his finger on the pulse of the spread, gets a couple of late touchdowns with 4 minutes and 2:20 left, throwing at the end of the game, just to say, we are going to cover against Northwestern. Not the greatest day from Drew Aller. I was watching this game kind of on and off. I had the Ryder Cup on still, and then was just doing some shit around the house, cleaning up a little bit since I was a complete waste of space in the entire morning. 18 of 33 for Drew Aller for 190 yards. Like, no interceptions. I mean, still had a passer rating up above 110. But, nothing great there. Nothing was great about this game, obviously. The running game was still solid. Singleton had 80 yards. Keytron Allen only had 6 carries for 27 yards. This wasn't great, but hey, it's win in advance. They won by a nice enough margin that no one's going to think twice about it. So that's kind of what matters. Couple week stretch here, off next week, and then host UMass. There's another college football game that shouldn't happen. Penn State should not play fucking UMass. Like, it just shouldn't happen. And then week 8, Saturday, October 21st. That's the big one. That's the first of the big ones. Ohio State going to Ohio State. And then, 3 weeks later after that, hosting Michigan in the big noon Fox game. So, a week off, and then UMass, like, get right, get it figured out. Ohio State, you're going to the Horseshoe. Like, go in there and beat those fuckers. When was the last time Penn State beat Ohio State in the Horseshoe? Let's see. Penn State versus Ohio State. Football history. Here we go. I want to say, I'm going to take a guess. I want to say it was 2008. Want to say it was 2008. I mean, shit, we haven't beat them at all since 2016. Good God. Just laying eggs. The 2017 one, lose by a point. That was a bad. Lose by a point the next year in 2018. Good God. Feeble. Okay. We beat them in Columbus in 2011. That was a disaster of a game. That was, I want to say, was that was it was not long after all the Joe Pa stuff that happened. So, yeah, I'm not counting that. Yeah, last real win was October 25th, 2008. Number 3 Penn State beats number 10 Ohio State. Who was the quarterback for Ohio State that year? Pryor. Pryor was like his head down. I remember where I watched that. It was I think I then went to a haunted house after that. I was a senior in high school. Senior in high school watching that one. And then Penn State got blown the fuck out in the Rose Bowl that year. Not good. Elsewhere in the college football landscape this past week, USC hangs on to beat Colorado after being up. So they were up 34-14 at halftime, and I think they extended that a little bit. Yeah, they got up as much as 41-14 and then 48-21. And Colorado scored 3 touchdowns at the very end of the one touchdown at the very end of the third quarter, and then 2 in the fourth. I saw it. I love this fucking argument so much. Like, oh, we just had more time. If we just had more time, we were coming for you. Well, guess what? You don't get more time. I hate it. I hate that argument. It's the same thing in fighting with Nate Diaz. He's like, oh, we just need one more round. Well, guess what? You know how many fucking rounds you get. You know how much time is in a football game. But USC's defense, porous to say the least, I would say. That was not the greatest showing for their defense. Caleb Williams slings it, but man, not the greatest defense. Kentucky takes down Florida. Georgia, I was keeping an eye on this one. Every time I looked over, Auburn and Georgia was in a dog fight. They were in a dog fight, and they rally late to get that one, score a touchdown late in that game to take the win and hold on to the number 1 spot. Texas has no real issue with Kansas. I had that game on for a while and wasn't a whole lot happening. Ole Miss with a good win over Vandy. Or sorry, not Vandy. I see Vanderbilt right above them. Ole Miss with a good win over LSU. I had that game on for a bit. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention, but every time I looked up, there was a score. Ole Miss was ranked 20 coming into that. They bumped up to 16. Oregon State had a good win over Utah. They handled them pretty well. Oregon just stomped Stanford. The game of the night, Notre Dame and Duke. Notre Dame holds on for a road win. Good win for Notre Dame. They score with about 30 seconds left in the game. Duke, I think their quarterback got hurt. I had gone to bed at that point. I was pretty tired from waking up in the morning. What do we got this week? Any good matchups? Missouri and LSU early. Ooh, Oklahoma, Texas. For the final time as Big 12 opponents, and next year they're gonna have to do this as SECs. So that's a nice. So 2 decent noon games. Syracuse heads to North Carolina. Kentucky coming off a big win over Florida heads to Georgia. Michigan at Minnesota. Notre Dame heads to Louisville. That's number 25 ranked Louisville now. USC hosts Arizona. So a few teams off this week in week 6 in the top 25. Not a whole lot of change in like the top 10, I don't believe. Notre Dame sneaks back in at 10. USC falls. Oregon moves up. Washington stays the same. Penn State stays the same. Florida State did not play. They stay the same. Ohio State didn't play. Texas, Michigan, and Georgia remain. So decent week of college football coming up, actually. So excited for it. So let's keep on rolling here. What do you say? What do you guys think about some passing thoughts? Passing thoughts time. A couple of things, sports related that didn't, have enough for an own segment here. First of all, hockey right around the corner. I believe October 12th. October 12th is the Flyers, the opening game. So, Flyers will move back into our lexicon there. Yes, they open the season October 12th at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Their home opener is October 17th. So, looking forward to some hockey. As one door opens, another door closes. The Cleveland Guardians have finished the year. They end the year. I didn't watch the last couple of games. In fitting fashion, losing a series to the Detroit Tigers. It sure did. It knocked them to third place in the AL Central, 76-86. Just not fantastic this year. It was a rough roster and got hit by some injuries. They were 42-39 at home. Did sneak over the winning, the 500 winning percentage in home ball, but it was the games on the road. 4-6 to finish the season, while the Tigers finished the season 7-3 in the last 10 to leapfrog them. Yeah, so they're going to need to head back to the building blocks, see what we can do, see what kind of rebuild can happen. Young players, obviously, is going to be the way Cleveland does it. It's not going to be through big, flashy free agency grabs. You'll see if they can get a guy like Josh Bell, who's maybe looking for a career resurgence, and see if they can catch a little lightning in a bottle there. But it's going to be through the farm system and building up the young guns. See if some good stuff can come. The MLB playoffs do start this week. Looking forward, hoping to have Big E come on this next week, and we can talk some playoffs. We will miss a couple of games, so you won't get a free preview of the whole thing. But the wild card round does start on Tuesday. Many of you will be listening to this pod as maybe some of those games go. There are 4 games on Tuesday, 4 more on Wednesday. So the divisional series would start next Saturday. So we'd probably come to you maybe right after the first divisional games. So we'll record, and we'll have something next week on the MLB playoffs. Other sports, Canelo Alvarez easily defeats Jermell Charlo. That's Mell Charlo. An uninspiring performance from Jermell by all accounts. I did not get it. You didn't sucker me this time, dickheads. I don't think there's any good UFC coming up for a couple weeks at least. UFC 294 is Makachev and Charles Oliveira. Ooh, that's an afternoon one, though. We like those. But yeah, Saturday, November 11th, we're, John Jones. Elsewhere in boxing, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk apparently have signed an agreement that they are going to fight. They're going to fight sometime maybe as early as December 23rd. But if not, it may sneak into January. Tyson Fury is fighting Francis Ngannou, in the meantime, in a boxing match that is going to be a joke, I would imagine. I've been wrong before, and I may be wrong again, but I don't think this is going to be the time. Ngannou's not a boxer, and Tyson Fury is one of the best in the world. So, and he's scheduling heavyweight unification matches before he's even had this one. So, this shit happens though. Every once in a while someone plays spoiler, but I don't know that this is going to be the time for it. What else do we have in the world? Oh, you know what's fun? My fantasy team. I had the second most points going into this week. I didn't have a great week this week. Lost by 5 points again this week. Lost by 0.5 last week. But going into this week, I had the second most points in the league, and I was 0-3. So great, just fucking great. Actually put together a decent team, and I'm a loser. So I'm driving down the road, heading on a road trip for work. I see this weird thing out in front of me. And I'm like, what the fuck? And this is what I see. I see this out ahead of me. If you look right here, where's my finger? Right there. That's a man's foot. My man was just posted up with his fucking foot out the window, just like, hey, here I am, hanging out, getting relaxed. My guy was a weird looking dude. There could have been a couple pipe bombs back in the backseat of that car. Ooh, I just kept driving. Got away from him. I saw there was some reports that there is a reboot of The Office in the works. I don't want it. You can't make The Office in today's world. Like today's political climate and the way like network TV shows are made. No thanks. Don't need it. Like the first one was incredible. And the first one lost steam when Steve Carell left. Like there's no doubt about it. There's some good episodes, but on the whole, once he leaves, it's all downhill. So please, let's just not. Your man here was a Wednesday night golf league champion this year. We wrapped up the title this past week with a dominant performance in the final match. Just dominant. Just a great run from the team. Got ourselves into the playoffs. Nothing crazy. 4th out of 6 teams in our division, and then we just went on a run. You know, it was real inspired ball down the stretch. Brought to you by Busch Light, among other things. I forgot to. I forgot. I think I forgot to mention in the baseball when I was talking about baseball in the Indian. Damn it! The Guardians. Terry Francona is retiring. retiring. I saw this on Twitter. This seems stupid. The Navy's going to start randomly testing special operations troops for steroids. The first such program in the U.S. military. Why? Don't we want those dudes to be badasses? Like, if we're trying to send people around to kill people, like, what do we want it to be a fair fight? We want the fucking opposite. We want it to be an unfair fight. Why are we testing these fucks? Let them juice. Juice it up, man. Juice it up. Let them out. Let them have it. So, I'm angry, and at the same time, it's funny. There was a representative, Jamal Bowman. He's I believe, a House representative from the state of New York, who was caught on camera pulling a fire alarm, I guess, in the Cannon building in D.C., ahead of a motion to adjourn a vote, as they were trying to make a vote on a continuing resolution so that the government doesn't shut down due to budget not being approved. My man was, I don't know why, but he pulled the fire alarm. Now, they say fire right on it. Like, everyone knows what a fucking fire alarm is. And he made a statement. He's like, I was confused. I didn't know what what I was doing. I was just trying to get to the rate, I was just trying to get over to the vote, and I couldn't get out the door. So I just pulled the fire alarm. I thought that was going to get me out the door. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way he actually thought that, right? But apparently he did. He said he was in a rush to go vote and panicked and pulled the fire alarm. Like, there's no way. And then these people were saying, like, there was these signs that said emergency exit only. And then under it, it says, in another row, it says push until, and then a row below, alarm sounds. And then in parentheses below that, it says 3 seconds. Then below that, it says door will, another row, unlock in, another row, 30 seconds. And someone's like, oh, I could see I got confused. Maybe it said push alarm until it sounds. What? You read left to right, then down. Left to right, and then down. You're trying to tell me that someone who has represented the 16th Congressional District of New York is so stupid that he can't read and that he doesn't know what happens when a fire alarm gets pulled. And then you got these people on the Twitter or the X, whatever the fuck it is now. They're like, well, I understand. I'm confused too. I just thought, no, I just don't understand. I mean, I know. Are you guys like? I don't know what bothers me more. That like he did it, and I don't know what the point. Like, I don't know why he did it. I don't know if it was to delay the vote or whatever. But that after it happened, like the constant like lies from him, his team, the people like being like the stands for him. And I've said it. Don't be a fucking like don't be a bootlicker stand for like the Democrats or the Republicans. Like they fucking hate you. Like they don't give a shit about you. You can think one is better than the other. I get it. I have that opinion. But like don't just like stand up for like all the idiots. Like this guy who I guess was a at least a superintendent, maybe. He was in education. He was a teaching career. He's against standard testing. Right. He's a crisis management teacher in the South Bronx Elementary School. So he was in a fucking school. You're trying to tell me a dude who was in a school, and I believe was a principal at one point, and then maybe a super... No, he was a principal. He was a principal. You're trying to tell me he doesn't understand what a fucking fire alarm is? Like, come on. And then, like, you got people sitting out there that are like, well, it was confusing. We just forgot how to read. We forgot that you read left to right, then down. We thought we read down, and then went back to the top, and then came down again. Like, it's bad. Like, just don't be an asshole. Like, you pulled the fire alarm. Like, just be like, fuck, I fucked up. Like, my bad. My bad. Like, I was trying to do something. It wasn't right. Like, I fucked up. Okay. You know what? I'd have a lot more respect for that and be like, I just didn't know what I was going to do. I just didn't know what I was going to do. They just think we're so stupid. Like, that's the thing I hate about politicians most. They don't give a fuck about you. Like, they think they couldn't give a shit less. They'd send you to die in some fucking war as soon as they fucking possibly could if they could make them a couple $100 extra bucks. But then they're going to lie to you. It's like they just think you're, as well as not caring, they think you're dumb. They think we're dumb. And it's fucking annoying. I also saw fucking David Frum, who's just another just absolute douchebag. That he was like, oh, the governor, the Senate and the House haven't had a pay raise in 8 years or whatever. It's like, well, who gives a fuck? They just insider trade the whole time. Like, they're the richest fucking people in America, making $200,000. Nancy Pelosi is like, got a net worth of like $200 million. And Dan Crenshaw is just fucking as good somehow. Like, how these fucking guys are the greatest investors ever? Greatest investors ever. Let's put them in charge of like every investment fund ever if they're this fucking great. Like, you should be doing more than making $200,000 a year. So, like, fuck you about a raise. Like, you guys are fucking incompetent. You can't even pass a budget. And I'm supposed to give you a raise? Fuck you! You know, I didn't see myself getting that heated. It was not, like, on the script for me to get all that heated today. Let's end on some fun things. First of all, I'm sure I've said this before. The Replacements was on the other day. That's a must-watch for me. When that's on, I watch it. I fucking love that movie. Quicksand. Oh, yeah, quicksand. Spiders. I'm scared of spiders. Wild Yam. Guy shooting up the car. I love The Replacements. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I don't care if you think it's stupid. I love it. I love John Madden in it. Keanu Reeves is awesome. The cheerleaders throwing it 100. Love it all the way around. Great movie, fun movie, fantastic, great ending. Heroes kicks in at the end. Oh, so great. What else? Oh, we'll end on this. driving back with the roommate from dinner last night, and somehow we got on the topic of Miley Cyrus, and we just started playing like some Miley Cyrus songs. Miley kind of slaps. I didn't really realize it. I didn't realize that Miley kind of slaps. We listened to more Miley Cyrus than maybe I ever have in my entire life, and I'm in. I'm in on Miley. So, all right, let's go wrap this thing up. Closing time, everybody. As always, just want to say thank you guys so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys watching, listening. Appreciate anybody who checked out the reviews of the Ryder Cup day by day, as we did those kind of quick reaction videos. Try and do more of those along the way. Golf just works perfectly because it happens, in the day or morning, and then you can kind of do something at a reasonable hour. Football ends it. Unless it's but then it's like there's another game going on that I want to watch. So golf just seems to work. So I would imagine there's probably more of those coming in the future, but I have fun doing those. Thank you as always. Producer Kevy keeps everything put together for us. And we are back next week. More football, obviously more football, more passing thoughts, more college football, all the good stuff's coming. Hoping to have Big E on and do a little talk about some playoff baseball. So more fun stuff coming next week. So till then, peace.